Today we're working on a 2012 G550 Mercedes Benz, and we're going to try the evacuation method as opposed to the standard drain and fill that you use with the drain plug at the bottom of the oil pan. We've tried this on a Subaru and we found that we were able to get all the engine oil using our evacuation tool. Now we're going to try it on a Mercedes with a front sump oil pan to see if we can get the same results.
So first you're going to check your oil level with the dipstick tube, and then take a length of hose from the evacuator and measure it to be the same length as the dipstick. Then go ahead and insert the hose into the dipstick tube and add a little extra so that it reaches the bottom of the oil pan. Once the hose is in place, you can produce vacuum with the evacuator tool, in our case a pumping mechanism.
So we've gone ahead and evacuated all the engine oil that we can, and we have recorded just over 9 quarts of engine oil. We know the capacity of this is 9.5 quarts. So the next thing to do is we're going to put the drain pan underneath the vehicle and remove the drain plug to see if any other engine oil comes out.
Nothing.
And we have no engine oil that came out. Fantastic. So whenever you're changing your engine oil and you remove your drain plug, you want to make sure that you also get a new copper crush washer, which is a really nice seal around that drain plug so that you don't have any oil leaks from there. So when you're replacing the oil filter, it's actually on top of the engine as opposed to down beneath, and you'll need an oil filter wrench that's specified for this oil filter cap to be removed. It's a canister style. Now another thing to notice is when you are getting a new filter, you'll want to get a filter that looks like this, because this is actually not a paper filter, it's more of like a felt kind of fabric material. And you can tell the difference between a paper one and something that has fabric based off these plastic ridges. So another company that makes these besides Mercedes, you can see this is genuine Mercedes, is a company called Mann, M-A-N-N. So if you're looking to save a couple bucks and you can get a deal from one, they sell them at advance. The other thing is you'll want to replace the O-rings. That way you don't have any sort of oil leaks associated with this. So we're going to go ahead and remove this. It's already been broken loose, so I can do it by hand. And then we're going to just raise it out a little bit, flip it over, grab the filter to remove it, and for the time being I'm just going to put the filter right back in here, and I'm going to replace this O-ring right here, and I'm also going to replace this O-ring down here. So to replace those O-rings, what I'm going to do is use this pick to remove them. So I'm just going to pick underneath, lift, and then go around and lift it out. So I'm just going to lift this O-ring out, and then I'm going to discard of this O-ring, and then I'm also going to remove this O-ring here. And now I'm just going to make sure that there aren't any other O-rings. There's another O-ring right here that's going to come out. So I'm just going to go around and pull it out. Now I've seen on the occasion someone will use the wrong type of filter, which will fit the first time, but when you try to remove it, this assembly right here will come off with it. And you want this to come together like this. If this piece separates and this piece right here is stuck on the filter, you need to separate this and then install it back onto this so that you can put the filter on. So now we're going to go ahead and swap the O-rings. I'm just going to put that down for the moment and open up my little O-ring pack. So we have the one big O-ring, we have the one large O-ring, and then we have 2 smaller O-rings. And those guys are right here. So you'll just want to match the O-rings up with your old ones because there's a couple that you won't use. So I'm just going to put this down, and these 2 guys are about the same, as you can see. So now we're going to go ahead and use our new O-rings. And we're going to just install them as such. So the first one goes on, and literally all I'm doing is just rolling it on with my fingers. And you do the first one first, so that you can just roll over the second one with your fingers as well. And they are quite malleable, so use that to your advantage. And we're rolling that over, and now we're going to roll it down and roll it over the next clip. And I'm just going to use this guy to help me. I'm going to be really careful not to puncture it, just kind of slip underneath it with my pick, and then just fold it over and fold it around. So I've got it. I'm just folding it all the way around, and now I have those two O-rings on, and then my last O-ring comes on here, and I'm just going to go ahead and loosely get it on, and then roll it down into its position. And that O-ring seats just here. So now I have all my O-rings in, so I'm going to then take my filter and put my filter on. I'm just gonna squeeze it in there, give it a little squeeze, and then I'm gonna take my old filter and I'm just gonna go ahead and toss that to the side. And now I'm going to do one of two things. At this point, I can fill the engine back up with oil through this large orifice, or I can fill it back through the engine oil fill plug, which is right here. But I like having a big, large space, so I'm going to actually fill the engine oil from here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put our filter back on, and we're just going to spin it on hand tight, and then we're going to go ahead and grab our filter wrench and put it on just a little tighter.